on 1 second. Okay, here we go. And we're on.
We're on. I could start. Is there anybody on?
Yeah, there are 7.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Noel Pointer Foundation and our Women History celebration. And I am so honored to have with us today Cozbi Cabrera, who is a very dear friend and someone who is so familiar with the Noel Pointer Foundation as a former board member and board chair. And so we are just excited and to have her read her book, Me and Mama. And let me just give you a little bit, a brief bio of all of her wonderful accomplishments. And they're probably, and not everything is mentioned here, just so you know. Cosby Cabrera, she paints, she illustrates children's books, quilts, designs clothing. Her illustrated titles include Beauty Her Basket by Sandra Belton, Green Willow Books, Thanks a Million by Nikki Grimes, Green Willow Books, Stitching and Pulling a Jeans Bin quilt, Patricia McKizak. That's really a great story too. That I think everyone should really look into that. Wonderful, wonderful women down south who have created these fabulous quilts. And that book was published by Random House. Most Loved in All the World, Tanya Cherry Hegeman by Houghton, published by Houghton Mifflin, which won the Christopher Award given to outstanding works that represent the best of the human spirit. And Exquisite, The Poetry and Life of Gwendolyn Brooks, written by Suzanne Slade, publishers Abrams Books, winner of the ALA Silbert Honor Award and Coretta Scott King Honor. She authored and illustrated My Hair is a Garden, Albert Whitman, and Me and Mama, Simon and Schuster, winner of Caldecott Illustration Honor and a Coretta Scott King Honor. It is a privilege to welcome you, Cosby, to the No Pointer Foundation to read your wonderful book, Me and Mama.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Pointer. Thanks for having me. And I consider anything Noel Pointer Foundation as family because I'm always so excited about the mission, about the work that's being done, about the impact it has on our children to see themselves, to kind of like even have a standard and to know that this is something that you can learn into, lean into, and grow into, and the impact and the difference it makes in your life and all the people that are surround you as a result of you having had a difference made and the generations to come. So I'm just so excited. I caught a peek at Anna, was it Rabinova? Yeah. Yesterday's masterclass, and to actually have sort of like all of this world-class instruction available under the Noel Pointer Foundation umbrella is just an amazing, amazing privilege. So I want to say thank you for all this work that you are doing and what it takes to keep everything running, and the fabulous staff and the incredible instructors and teachers who are, in fact, musicians themselves. And I'd love to read from Me and Mama today. I just maybe get a little help. We may have some young kids present. So I say, come on in. Older folks, folks who perhaps are in the arts, come and join me and join us as we read from Me and Mama. So these are the end pages. It's just a bunch of little items, because that's how kids learn to observe and consider, like what things are, because, they're new in the world. And all of these things are showing up. And so oftentimes they love to just even compare and contrast, to say, this is this and it's not that, in the same way that even for notes, right? It's not this note, it's a flat, all of these many, many distinctions. So this is the title page, Me and Mama. That little dress, I happen to be wearing something of that print right now. And so let's get started. So it starts with her tiptoeing down the stairs. And I need you to help me. Can you help me, Mrs. Pointer, or anyone who's listening right now? And just say, good morning to you.
Good morning to you.
Good
morning,
my darling.
darling.
Good morning.
Good morning to
you. Sings Mama, bright as sun. Sometimes she sings it like the birthday song. I tiptoe to where she is in the house. It smells like cinnamon. Papa and Luca are still sleeping, but I want to be everywhere Mama is. And I wonder if anyone else can relate to that. Is there someone in your life that you just enjoy spending time with? Doesn't even matter what you're doing, you know? So here she is. I put my nose to the window. My breath makes a cloud inside. I wonder who does that. Does anyone ever go to the window and notice that there's a little cloud that forms from the vapor of your breath? The clouds outside are wearing shadows. The wind is painting the outside window with beads of water. It's raining, I say. The perfect day for boots and puddles, says Mama. Bathroom first, she says. Then water, I say. I wonder if anyone else sometimes looks out the window to see what's going on. You know, is it cold out? Is it raining? How do I prepare? If I'm going out, what do I have to put on? So here we go. This is Mama's cup. Sometimes I take a cool sip, but I've got to be careful because her cup is breakable. This is my cup. Mama's cup goes clink, clink with a spoon. My cup goes da, da, clink, 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 da, da, clink, 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 clink. Oh dear, what happened? Sometimes things break, Mama says. This is Mama's toothbrush. This is mine. I get less toothpaste. Round my teeth with little circles, Mama says. Round my teeth with little circles, I say. Who else goes round their teeth with little circles in the morning? What's next? It's shower and dress time. Mama holds up my towel. A shower is warm rain that gets you going. Mom and I both have silver dresses. I wear mine with silver shoes. They're my favorite. Today is not our silver dress day, Mama tells me. I put my silver dress back on the hanger and pick the plaid pants instead. I wonder who else has a favorite something. I once asked a little boy what his favorite something was, and he says, it's his camouflage pajamas. And I said, well, how can anyone else tell they're your favorite? And he goes, well, maybe it's because I wear them all the time. Comb hair, says Mama. She points to my chair. I'm hungry, I say. Mama's thought of this ahead of time. She has warm oatmeal in the pot. This is Mama's bowl. She likes berries. This is my bowl. I like bananas. I wonder who has a favorite breakfast. Some kids told me waffles, pancakes. One girl said scrambled eggs and sausage. And another girl in Texas said grits. Grits were her absolute favorite breakfast. Comb hair, Mama says again. I don't want the bumblebee beret. I don't like the bumblebee beret, I say. Mama closes her hand. She knows, I mean, just today. She gives me the blue beret. Comb hair, I say. I point to Mama's chair. Mama smiles. I give Mama the purpley pink beret. It matches her dress. She calls it fuchsia. I wonder who else has a grown-up that lets them do certain things even though they're not that perfect at it yet. Look at all that hair breakage on the comb. Right? But if we keep going, we just get better and better. That even goes for our instruments, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I know for the violin, just even the bowing, the early bowing, it sounds like, and you just have to bear through it because it just gets better and better. Out we go, I say. Max is waiting. These are my rain boots. Those are Mama's. Mama's rain boots are bigger than mine, and they're red. I watch for Max's tail before I close the door. Max doesn't wear boots. Just being very careful because that's always the last thing out the door. Outside, a pecker pecks. I wonder if you can hear noises outside your window. I just shut my window because there was a little dog barking in the courtyard, but she's noticing all of the sounds that are occurring in her neighborhood. The sidewalk is longer than it is wide. I love the grass that grows in the in-between. It's moss, Mama says. It's velvet, I say. A hole is where a branch was. Nests are left behind in winter. Some things don't let go, but for what? Notice that tree, it still has all of its dried and shriveled leaves where all the other trees have long let go. The stores are boxes filled with people. Now, the store's really boxes filled with people, or is that how she sees it? We sing out loud to sky. Sky is taller than the trees. Mama says a song is highs and lows. Is that true? Is a song highs and lows, like high notes and low notes? I think life is a little that way too, don't you? Or is it too early to tell? Okay, everybody, you too, Mrs. Pointer, let's get up. This is the next page, right? And we're gonna splash in our puddles right now, especially anyone over 30. That's the best part of a rainy day.
That is.
Especially on your way home, don't you think? Now you can dry off. The outside clouds are pink with the sleepy sun. The day and our good are done. Mama puts Luca and me to bed. Our day's done a little earlier than Mama and Papa's. It's just that way when you're growing. I wonder if there are any young people that have to go to bed a little bit earlier than their grown-up. Mama reads to us. I read to Mama. I begin each story with, sometimes. Mama laughs. She throws her head back and shines her teeth. I laugh too. I wonder who else loves to read right before going to bed. I still like to read before going to bed. I think everybody likes a good story. You're my best girl, Mama whispers. Luca is already asleep. I slip through the blanket tunnel she closes by my chin. There's the kiss. I love you, Mama, I yell. Oh my gosh, I wonder if that woke up Luca. Let's see what happens next. Uh-oh. She turns off the light. And there it is, right? The thing that we try to avoid. I don't know if there are any kids out there who might be a little afraid of the dark, right? Because we can't see. We don't know what's going on. Sometimes we turn on a little light, you know. Sometimes adults are in the dark because they don't know what steps to take next. And so we're afraid of that as well. So let's see what she does with the dark. My mouth gets sleepy first. The walls are dark except by the window where the stars are hanging. I close my eyes and let the day spin me some pictures. There's Max and Luca and Papa and Mama's laugh and tree holes and tall songs and mossy velvet as green as grass and full boxes and a blue barrette and a whole cup and a beaded window and warm indoor rain. Up and up. There'll be me and Mama. And that's what she does with the dark, right? She lets the day spin her some pictures of who she loves and who loves her. And all of those moments she gets to recall and rehearse and replay. And that is how she uses the dark. The end. And I'd love to entertain some questions if there are any questions.
Any questions? I don't know who's on here.
Yeah, I think, because I think people are watching on YouTube, but we're here on Zoom.
We're in Zoom, so
Yeah.
there's this.
Right.
Yes, right. Okay.
So thanks for having me.
Oh, Cosby, this was wonderful. I do have a question. How did you come up with the story?
Yeah.
And what was the inspiration
Yeah.
behind writing Me and Mama?
Yeah, so the inspiration, because there are stories all around us, every last one of us, and all of us in some way are storytellers, right? Like even when we are recalling something that happened, you know, I know when we're little, we say, and then like over and over. And that is really sort of like storytelling in its infancy, but like that is an instinct I think that we all have. And I think sometimes we're almost, what might you say, intimidated by the title of, you know, what does it mean to be a writer or an author? I know I was a secret writer all of my life. When I was about 9 years old, you know, I grew up in public housing and my parents couldn't afford sort of a summer program for me. And so we spent a lot of time indoors. And so I would tiptoe to the linen closet, take out the typewriter because I didn't really have permission to use it, and like crank in a piece of onion skin paper. I figured they wouldn't miss it, you know. And then I would start to write my story. And I remember being stuck all the time because I was reading all of these things, all of these adventures, and I felt like my life did not mirror that because I hadn't sat in the tall prairie grass and you know, and I didn't have any campfire tales, and so I felt like I got really stuck because I felt like what I needed to say or what I wanted to say just wasn't special enough. And so that's what I love about this book, because it's not about a big, major, cataclysmic event with a huge story arc and, you know, we're holding on to the edge of our seats. it's really about the time we spend with somebody that we love. When our soul, in those moments that we think are ordinary, our souls are being nourished and watered and fed.
Mm-hmm.
And the story, I was inspired to tell it because I had this favorite cup of mine that I had purchased from this Argentine bakery that was like going out of business, and they were selling all their loose odds and ends. And it was an absolute favorite of mine. I drank everything out of it. And my daughter thought at 3 she was going to do me this wonderful, special thing for me by bringing me a cup of water. And so she grabbed my favorite cup and sat it on the water cooler ledge, and and used both of her hands to squeeze the spigot, and crash kaboom, that was the end of that cup. I saved the pieces because I did have this impetus to paint it, because even though it was in a broken state, it was still very, very beautiful. And that's when I just began to record these special moments, right? Because as parents, we say the days are long, but the years are short, and it's like, those dimpled hands, not going to be dimpled hands forever. It's like everything really does change and pass by. And so I just wanted to capture the string of moments, from good morning to good night.
Good night. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
Oh,
Beautiful. We do have a question for you from YouTube.
oh, fantastic.
How long did it take to write and illustrate the book?
Yeah. So the book, it didn't take me very long to write it, because I just wrote it in my natural voice. It's like I think every writer has their own voice, and so I was just like true to my own natural voice. And it was sold, and then I had begin the process of illustrating it. And so initially, I really wanted to capture the story just through their everyday items, comparing and contrasting. And so the editor, and just show glimpses of them, I think that last page shows sort of like what I was attempting to do. We have an indication of them, but, not exactly, the likeness of them. And so that's what I really wanted to do, to catch glimpses of them. And so I got talked into showing a little bit more of mother and daughter. And I didn't think that necessarily took away from what I was trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so all in all told, between handing in the sketches, because that's what we do first, and then there's a little bit of the back and forth discussion, and then we make some adjustments and promise to either shift directions or come to some agreement, with the publisher and the author, and the illustrator. In this case, I'm both, but it would usually be the illustrator. And then I usually have about maybe 4 to 5 months to paint. And so the entire process, between, say, signing a contract and going and delivering final art, is usually anywhere between 9 to 10 months.
Really?
Happens, within a year.
So within a year, you wrote the book, illustrated the book, did all the contracting and everything into
The art.
to deliver it.
Yeah, the art from sketch to final delivery was about 9 months. Yeah.
Oh my.
So thank you for that question.
Any other questions? Wow, and the colors are absolutely gorgeous. The illustrations are beautiful. Wow, me and mom. Any other question? Oh, somebody said no. Let's see if I have any other questions. I mean, this is just lovely. Cozbi.
Thank you.
Well, I really do appreciate you doing this. This is really wonderful. I just noticed that every page is a different color, and there's more like pastel and just natural beauty. And then you wrote another book, My Hair is a Garden.
Yeah, My Hair is a Garden.
So was that the second book or that the first?
So that was the first. And that was because, people in New York were always stopping me in the street and asking me, like, because I wore my hair natural even in corporate America. And so I had women coming into my office asking me like hair questions, because there's this idea that natural is not appropriate for the workplace. Well, I mean, I think that we've gone beyond that now. I'm grateful that we've evolved, but people felt that they were looking at me and saying, well, I can't say that she's not appropriate. And so they were always asking me questions because, they had even forgotten what their natural hair looked like. And natural hair in certain communities really is a big thing, So I always tell the story of like this one woman that I was working with who wanted nothing more than to live with her nana, who lived down south, and her mom said, and she had such a special relationship with her grandma, and so her mom said, you know what, as soon as you're able to take care of it and do your own hair, you can go live with nana, and so she was like really upset, even as a grown woman, because Nana had long passed away before she could actually be able to manage and handle her own hair. And so she was still smarting over that,
Oh,
that's how much of a big deal. So like not having a wash and go and having something that has its own requirements, for tending and care, are to an entire community, so I think that serves to illustrate the point. Yeah, but like when I was dating my husband, people were stopping me, like, as we were, walking down the street, and like in one date, there'd be like 5 people that had stopped me to ask me. And sometimes the train door was closing and they were like, had found something to write with and they were taking notes, and he thought,
really?
this is really odd, but there was one woman, she had adopted a Black child. And she did not come from that tradition, didn't know what to do. And so she asked me about some hair tips for her daughter. And, her daughter, her hair was always like tangled and just a little bit linty. You could tell it was washed, but she just didn't know how to care for her daughter's hair. And so I mentioned this distinction of oil, right? Because everything has its own unique distinctions. And I could see a recoil because oil is something you removed. It's not something you put in deliberately.
Right.
So I thought about that little girl, and I thought that one day she was going to be looking for answers,
Yes.
And how do we oftentimes find our answers? Sometimes, we can locate a person. Other times we reach out for books to find some answers. And I wanted there to be a book for her.
Oh my gosh. And that young lady, it's got a head full of hair. And I love it. I love it. We have another question. Somebody wants to know, do you provide illustration services?
Yeah. So right now, I'm just going to be really honest, because I have multiple disciplines, and I'm not a dabbler. So it's like I go in and I go in deep, in terms of devoting myself time-wise. So right now it's like projects have come to me, but they're coming through an agent, just so that I can manage my calendar, because I am a mom, and I am sort of like deeply involved in other projects. So it's usually through the agent that handles.
And so if somebody was if there was a publisher who was publishing a book, you could recommend to your publisher that an illustrator, or your agent?
So the publisher would normally contact my agent, and my agent would bring me sort of the project.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, make a decision for it.
Okay.
Yeah, and I am a sucker for stories that include brown girls, because I came up in a time when brown girls were not, and this notion of what we are now even defining as Black girl magic was not something that I came up with. I didn't come up with that celebration. It's like I came up with taunts. you know, and so I am always, you know, just love to represent, you know, little brown girls, you know, it's just sort of like in me to do that.
I love it. You have another question from Kelly. Is the girl in the book Jonna?
Which one? Which book?
Me and Mama.
You know, I would say that Jonna likes to think that the girl in the book is her, even though I didn't necessarily think of the girl as Jonna. I just thought of a little girl, you know, and yeah, but like she says, well, that's my cup, so it's got to be me. But you know, I've gotten like letters from children all around the country. It's like, no, you know, like, or the moms are saying that the child is saying, no, that's me. That's definitely me. So, and that's I think the honor of any illustrator, right, is to be able to put something out there that people resonate with, that relate to, and feel like it's expressing a part of themselves.
Yeah. Yes.
That's like the highest honor.
Honor, Cozbi, this has been such an inspiration.
Oh
my gosh, it really has.
Yeah.
And I'm really glad and happy that you do, you know, you really encourage us as far as even Black women, but for Black girls, so that we look in the mirror and we can be proud of who we are and know that, you know, we're beautiful and our hair is beautiful and we have so much to offer.
Yeah.
And to never second guess ourselves.
Right.
Because I mean, the love that we see in this book is just for everyone.
Yeah.
And I mean, walking in the rain, brushing our teeth, the clothes we wear, combing our hair, whether it's kinky or straight or whatever it is, whatever the texture. But I mean, this just relates to all of us. And this is just beautiful.
Yeah.
And I really thank you. And anyone who really wants to get this book, they're available at Barnes and Noble. And I just recommend that you buy one and have one in your library, you know, because it is a beautiful book and the illustrations is gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous.
Thank
and
you.
I know I can tell you, yes, she is a very busy lady. And you really have not, I mean, just touched the surface of some of the things that Cozbi does. But thank you for taking the time out to do
Thanks
this.
for having me. And thank you, family. Thank you.
Yes, we love you, Cozbi, and I look forward.
And I love you. Yes.
And hopefully we can do this again. Maybe you'll come back and you'll read My Hair is a Garden the next time.
I'd love to. I'd love to.
Okay.
Okay, then.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And you were saying something about how you do your illustrations. Mm-hmm. And as you were talking, I was thinking about how musicians compose music. Mm-hmm. It's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, that composition.
Yeah, it's creative process, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and then like even for any kind of like creativity, or you know, it doesn't matter what the medium is. I think like the best of creativity is, you know, there's a hook or something that like draws you in. But as a creator, you almost have to not even treat that as too precious, because you've got to be willing to shift it and change it and to like make it better, as opposed to say, you know, be so attached to what your precious little hands or mind has created, you know. So there's a lot of like, you know, scratching out and reworking and like all of the stuff that goes into creative process to get to the best of things.
Yeah.
You know, but yeah, there are lots of similarities and tie-ins with so many different disciplines. And so like, I would even recommend that children who are playing their instrument, you know, don't make a decision that, oh, well, this is not what I want to do for the rest of my life. Go the full journey. Go the entire journey. Don't give it up. Keep going at it. Keep going, because there's even like your ability to pay attention, it really does stretch and grow as you get a little bit older, and your ability to focus and all these things. So don't make early decisions for the you that is going to evolve and grow and change. So that journey is going to look very, very different, later on down the road, but you don't have the benefit of that if you don't stick with it.
Right.
So I say stick with whatever you're doing, because you can always relate it to something else if you have that experience, so that you know what it means to hang in there, even when it feels like it's not working. There are lots of times, I'm at my painting table, being in practice, and I look up and it's like 8 hours later and I don't have anything that I love or that I'm happy with or that I can even submit, and then I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up and another idea will pop in as to how I could solve it. But I would not have the benefit of those flashes of insights or that inspiration if I did not show up and pay attention to what I was doing, even when it looked like I wasn't producing the result. So I say, stay for the journey. You will surprise yourself and what you become as a result of that. There's no, there's like no, there's no substitute for like you devoting yourself to something, even on the days that you feel you don't love it.
Wow, that's good. That's good. And on that note, we're going to end our reading. Oh, this is so good. Don't give up. Just hang in there. Yeah.
You'll be surprised.
Yes. Oh, this is so great. That's another book. You'll be surprised. Thank you, Cozbi, so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It has truly been a blessing. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon. The sun is still shining. Weather seems to be lovely. Go out. Enjoy the rest of your day.